Hi, I'm Tuenge, and I'm here at Jodi Fuchs Studio and Art Gallery. She's a good friend of mine, and I'm really excited to give you a tour of the gallery and interview her about her art and her yoga. Come on in, let's meet her. Hi, Jodi.
Hello.
Say hello.
Oh, hello.
This is Jodi Fuchs, artist extraordinaire. And Jodi, can you just walk us through your gallery and show us some of your paintings?
Yeah, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I came to have this gallery.
Perfect.
I won this gallery in an art contest. It was sponsored by Archstone Apartments. The space had been sitting empty for about 2 years, and so they ran a contest, and I think close to 200 artists entered, maybe 170, 175, something like that. And it was simply submit your favorite piece. And I was working, and I'll take you over to that piece, it's in the corner here. I started working on this piece and using spray paint and going a little bit nuts with my work. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna submit that piece. So it's over here in the corner.
Okay.
It's called 555, and a big change is coming. In numerology, 5 means a big change is coming, and Jesus, that's the painting that won the contest. So it was kind of prophetic, you know?
Yeah.
It was really cool.
So let's go sit down, and I have a lot of questions for you. Okay. Very excited. Okay, come on over.
Jodi, you know, one thing I'm wondering is, did you always know that you were an artist or that you wanted to be an artist?
Well, I think I kind of had an inkling when I was really young, and if I ever colored outside of the lines, I'd like have a temper tantrum.
Oh, interesting.
But then, you know, now it's like that issue's been solved. But
you've resolved that.
But I think I was always creative, and but I wasn't necessarily thought of myself as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
But,
did you have a career prior to being an artist?
well, I was a decorative painter for almost 20 years, so that I still had a creative outlet with my work. But I really started to focus on my fine art in the last like 5 years or so, I would say, more aggressively.
When did you finally decide to quit your day job and just be an artist? How did you make that decision?
Yeah, it was actually kind of gradual, and there was an overlap. I didn't just stop doing the decorative painting and then just start doing the fine art, but I gradually would take fewer and fewer jobs. Then I would maybe sell a painting, so I didn't have to do the decorative work. So it just became more organic, which was great because I was kind of worried about how that was going to happen.
Yeah. You know, I've seen your older work and your newer work, and it seems like you've totally evolved from doing like very more precise to really just like almost like an explosion of creativity, and I see a ton of symbolism in your work. Tell me like the influence, your most recent influence for your work.
Well, most recently, and the reason I think my work became so much more expansive and loose and kind of unedited was because of my yoga practice. 2 years ago, I went through teacher training for Kundalini yoga, and I really noticed my work started to shift and just become looser. It was almost like, you know, when there's a clogged drain, you know, and then the hair gets pulled out, and then all of a sudden there's like this rush of water, this rush of energy. That's what started to happen. You know, as a decorative painter, I was stenciling a lot, so my work had to be very precise to fit on certain walls or, you know, certain measurements. So I think initially my fine art was kind of precise like that as well. And then it started to change as I did, you know, more breath work and meditation, and it was just like, wow. Wow. It really opened up.
I've heard you call your work like spiritual graffiti or soul graffiti, and how did you kind of come up with that term? Because I think it totally fits, and I love spiritual graffiti. That's like so great.
Well, I did a painting, and it was like that one, and I started using spray paint, so I'm like, that's spiritual graffiti. Because I realized my paintings, I don't start with any real precise idea with what I'm going to do. I just kind of see what shows up. So for me, it's like a real moment in my life, like what's going on in my psyche or my consciousness. And sometimes it's pure energy, and sometimes there's symbols that help to kind of articulate what's going on.
Another thing that I totally love is how big you paint, and I think you can see there's a lot of unstretched canvas. So you always start on just unstretched canvas. Do you always pin it to the wall? What's kind of your process?
I do. I've been painting, I mean, I have painted on canvases and on structure, you know, on boards and things, but I realized, you know, I'm so used to painting on walls as a decorative painter. I mean, I was doing like these big walls, I mean, mansions, big spaces. So for me to paint large is actually not a big deal because I'm really used to working in a large space. In fact, you know, when I started painting my little pieces, that was really the shift for me, painting like these tiny little blocks that I've sold, you know, a gazillion of. Yeah.
Tell me about those blocks, and how did you come to even think to do that?
Well, I signed up for an artist residency in Hawaii. And I was like, how am I going to paint in Hawaii? You know, I was going for a month, and I thought, you know, I need to work small. So I think I had found these little pieces of wood at a garage sale. I mean, they were like pieces of like a 2x4 that had been chopped up. And I thought, I'll see what, you know, I'll just bring those with me. I brought all these little pieces of paper, works on paper to do. And I made these 2 blocks while I was in Hawaii. And I'm like, I think I'm onto something, because I liked the idea of creating a line of these blocks where I could have different images that you could mix and match and create a larger piece or just, you know, an individual piece.
Right.
So that's where they started. And then I got into making clay prints, so that it wasn't just me painting directly on the block. I could take a print and then glue it to the block. And then I throw some resin on top.
Ta-da!
Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. And, you know, I sell a lot of those. And I'm actually looking for a way to mass produce those right now.
So, you know, one thing I think, speaking of mass producing, that a lot of artists and aspiring artists want to know and want to tap into is like how to really sell their art. Like, how do you go from like the day job to the artist full time? So can you tell me, like, how did you begin to sell your work, and how did you kind of tap into selling, really?
Well, you know, at the Santa Monica Airport, we have art walks, and I've been at my studio for about 5 years now, and we're going on our 5th art walk. So that's where I started to sell a lot of stuff. The blocks, I mean, I would sell 30 to 50 blocks, you know, in a day. And then I would sign up for, like, you know, Whole Foods Market was having, you know, we want to have a little craft fair. And I'd set up and I'd do these little fairs, which I didn't really like to do, quite frankly, because it's a lot to set up and schlep everything. But I would always sell stuff, you know.
And mostly the small stuff, because it's hard to hang a whatever 10 by 5 painting at the art fair.
So I do little shows, the art walk, and then this woman came to my show, to the art walk, and she rents out pieces to film and TV, and then she asked me if I'd be interested, and then I found out about, you know, publishing, and I have a line of posters with a publisher. So I just decided to treat my work as a business and find out ways that I could do something once and get paid for it 10,000 times. That was my motto.
Passive income is king, or queen, I should say.
Absolutely.
So that seems like so systematic and easy. You just, I mean, the way you make it sound does sound easy, but, you know, as an artist myself, I know that it's really not that easy. So, I mean, do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
Well, okay, so I think people either need to make a decision within themselves. It's like, you know, am I painting just for my pure expression and for my enjoyment and for, you know, why am I doing this? For me, I'm doing it to express myself, to touch people, to, you know, hopefully inspire people, and I'm also doing it as a business. So I really treat it as a business. You have to cultivate this sense of, you know, this is my product.
Right, like and not get too attached to it.
Yeah. Yes, because
out with the old, in with the new.
In my philosophy, I mean, creativity is endless, it's boundless, it's infinite. So it's like, this came out of me now, God, what's going to happen next? And that to me is what makes it exciting. I never know. And sometimes I look at stuff and I go, did I make that? And I'm like, yeah, you did.
I love that. And so I think that's really great advice, to decide that that's what you're going to do and be diligent about making it a business. Jodi, it's been so great talking to you. I'm so excited for you in this coming year. You have lots of exciting things happening, and you're moving back into your studio, which is, for me, really exciting.
Yeah, we'll be close.
We'll be close, and I'll be able to paint with you.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And you have lots of great things on the horizon here.
Yes,
so
yes.
Good luck with all of that.
Thank you.
And thank you for welcoming me into your space.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. Thanks for visiting.
Thanks for visiting.